Welcome to my Boracay travel guide. If you are new here, hello, I'm Lauren, and myself and my boyfriend Chris left the UK in March this year and moved abroad to the Philippines. We are based in BGC in Metro Manila, and although we love city life, we do like to take advantage and jump on a plane and explore the beautiful islands of the Philippines, as the Philippines has so much to offer. We have recently been on a trip to Boracay where we were here for 5 nights and 6 days. We spent our time exploring as much of the island as possible, going to loads of different beaches, trying out some delicious food and generally enjoying ourselves. I posted our trip on a lot of my social media platforms and everybody loved the content, so thank you for that. However, I did also get a few questions, so I thought I would make this video just to give all of my recommendations of places to go, places to eat, the best time to travel and how to get to the Philippines, as it can seem quite complicated. So let's start with the best time of year to come and travel to Boracay in the Philippines. Dry season is from January through till May time. This is when you are going to get your bright blue skies, the sunshine and have that wonderful experience. However, this is also the busiest time for tourism and is also one of the most expensive times to come and explore the island. Myself and Chris came in November as a late celebration for his birthday. June to November is known as the rainy season in the Philippines. This is when there is a lot of rain and there is a high chance of having typhoons. Although we felt very lucky and there was only a few rainfalls on our trip, there has recently been typhoons in the Philippines, so just be careful if you are planning on booking to come at this time of year. It is much cheaper and it is a lot less quiet, so there are pros and cons to each time of year. Another question that I was asked a lot is, how on earth do you get to Boracay, as it seems quite a complicated process. Most people will fly from Cebu or Manila. These are the two main airports within the Philippines. If you are flying internationally into the Philippines, you are most likely coming into Manila, where you will then transfer to the domestic airport and fly to Cataclan. This is the easiest way to get to Boracay and the quickest process. We flew from Terminal 3 in Manila to Cataclan Airport with Cebu Pacific Airlines. The flight in total took around 55 minutes, and with flying in the Philippines, you want to make sure that you are booking your flight at least 4 weeks in advance. The Philippines is a difficult place to travel in the sense that it is made up of over 7,000 different islands, so you mostly have to fly to different destinations, so you do need to be organised. As mentioned previously, you cannot fly directly to Boracay as they do not have their own airport, so you will be flying to Cataclan Airport, which is an island next to Boracay. This is the section that I think people get a bit confused and think is a really complicated process. So you have two options to get from Cataclan Airport over to Boracay. The first option is to organise the transfer with your accommodation. This is the option that myself and Chris went for, so we stayed at Movenpick Resort and we paid for them to sort our transfer out. So when we arrived at the airport, we collected our luggage and then we went outside, and Movenpick had their own stand where they took us to a van. We got in the van that took us to the jetty port where they actually have their own building there. And then we went on a private speedboat across to Boracay, and then we had another van transfer. The process was super easy, but it is very expensive doing it that way. We chose to do that option as we had never been to Boracay before and we didn't know how complicated the process was going to be. But since being there and realising that even though the transfer seemed to be the easiest, there was a lot of waiting about. So if we were to go back to Boracay, we would do the self-transfer, which is much cheaper, which I'm going to talk you through now. For the self-transfer, once you arrive at Cataclan Airport, you will come out of the departures exit. You will see in the car park there are loads of vans. You want to walk straight past the vans and then turn left and walk down a little path where you will see a sign for tricycles. You are going to get a tricycle from the airport to the jetty port. A tricycle will fit 2 people in, and that is 150 pesos. The journey from the airport to the jetty port will take you about 10 minutes. Once you arrive at the jetty port, you need to go straight inside where you will see loads of different counters. The first counter that you need to go to is the registration counter. This is where you will need to show proof of ID and your accommodation booking. You cannot come to Boracay if you don't already have an accommodation booking. You will then go across to the terminal fee stand where you will pay 150 pesos per person, and then you will go and pay your environmental fee, which is 150 pesos per person for locals and 300 pesos per person for foreigners. And then finally you will go across to pay your boat fee, which is 50 pesos per person. When you've paid for your boat fee, you will get a ticket with a number on. This is the number to identify which boat you are getting on, and there are plenty of people there that will help you in case you can't find it. But then you will go and board your boat. Once your boat is full, it will set off. And the journey for the boat to Boracay takes between 15 to 20 minutes. Once you arrive at Boracay, you will want to come out of the jetty port, and by the exit you will see that there are e-trikes. So in Boracay you don't really see any cars or anything like that. It is mostly e-trikes. So they are much bigger and can fit about 6 people in them. You will get in your e-trike and you will use that to get to your accommodation. Most accommodations are only 15-20 minutes away from the jetty port. However, if you are going right to the top of the island, then it will take maximum 25 minutes. The next thing that we will cover in my Boracay guide is where to stay. There are so many different places to stay in Boracay that will suit different budgets and different criteria of what you want. We personally stayed at Movenpick Resort, which is a 5-star resort right at the top of Boracay Island. In the section where Movenpick is, you will also find the Shangri-La and the Crimson Resort. This is in the top west hand side, and this is where all of the luxury 5-star resorts are. And the positive to these is that they have access to a private beach. They are extremely quiet, they are very luxury, and they have access to restaurants, bars, shops, and they normally all have their own spa. The downside to this area is that it is the furthest away from the main part of the island. So if you are wanting to come and just relax, these are probably the best places to stay, as you are mostly away from general tourist attractions. If you are wanting to explore the island, it can be a little bit trickier if you are staying in these areas. The main places that people stay is on White Beach. And White Beach is the famous beach in Boracay and is a really long strip of beach on the west side. And White Beach has been split into 3 different sections. You've got Station 1, Station 2 and Station 3. Starting at the top of White Beach, we have Station 1. This is the best place to go if you are wanting a luxury hotel. The hotels here are a little bit quieter than the rest of White Beach, and you get that level of luxury. The positive of being on White Beach is that you are in walking distance to Station 2, which is where everything is going on. However, none of the resorts have private beaches. The beach at the top of White Beach in Station 1 is a beautiful white sand beach, but it is open to the general public. However, it is not very busy in this section, as this is not where the activities are going on, and this is not where you will find a lot of the local guides trying to upsell you tours. This is more in Station 2. Station 2 is the busiest part of White Beach. If you are somebody that wants to find the hustle and bustle, this is where you want to stay. There is a massive amount of restaurants and places that you can go drinking on an evening. During the day, the beach is super busy. There are loads of activities that you can do here, and it is a super busy spot for sunset on an evening. This is also where D Mall is, which is one of the shopping malls, so you can find everything that you want here. And because it is such a central location, it is super easy to get tricycles to any other part of the island. Station 2 is cheaper than Station 1, but as I said, it is a lot busier and a lot noisier. The last station is Station 3. Station 3 is the cheapest of all of the stations and it is right at the bottom of White Beach. It is quieter than Station 2 and it is not as touristy, but you don't get the level of luxury that you do on Station 1. Another benefit of Station 3 is that it is still in walking distance to Station 2, so you can still easily get around and do a lot of activities without having to get the e-trikes across the island. One of the other areas that is not often spoke about where you can get accommodation is at Bullabong Beach. Bullabong Beach is the opposite side of the island to White Beach, but it is only about a 10-minute walk. This side of the island is windier, so if you are somebody who is on a budget and you are quite happy to walk, this might be a good location for you to have a look at for your accommodation. There are so many different activities that you can do in Boracay and so many places to go, but not all of them are in walking distance. There are 3 main ways that you can get around the island. The most popular is to use the e-trikes. You will find the e-trikes in most of the tourist destinations. They're super easy, so just jump on if it's free. And they're usually around 150 pesos per journey, but it depends where you are going. They are super convenient, you can fit up to 6 people in them, and you can just tell the driver where you want to go. The next option is to use the hop-on hop-off bus. This is a bus that goes around most of the island and I think covers about 8 tourist destinations. You can purchase a 1, 2 or 3 day pass which allows you unlimited use across the island. However, it does only run from 8 AM to 5 PM and they have planned routes and a schedule, so you just need to be aware of this when using the bus. The final option is to hire a moped. This is the option that we went for. This is, however, the most expensive option. We hired through a local guide who was amazing, so if anybody is interested in doing this, let me know and I can pass your details on. We decided to go for this option as it is the most convenient. It meant that we could just jump on the bike and go wherever we wanted. We didn't have to worry about whether we could find an e-trike and we didn't have to stick to a schedule, which is what myself and Chris prefer. We found that there was plenty of places to park for free and it just gave us complete freedom. As we had the bike, we took advantage and tried to explore as much of the island as possible. So I'll talk you through some of the top areas that you need to go and check out. Obviously, you need to go and check out White Beach. White Beach has made Boracay famous. It is one of the most beautiful beaches that you will ever see with the fine white sand, hence why it's got its name. But if you go to Station 1 on White Beach, you will find Willie's Rock, which I would absolutely recommend going to see. It is lovely. The next thing I would recommend, which you can do from walking from the top of Station 1, is to go to Dinnywood Beach. On Dinnywood Beach, there is a narrow path that goes around some coral stone cliff, which separates White Beach and Dinnywood Beach. And when you walk on this path, you will get to a really narrow point, and this is called Lambros Point, and it's the cave-like midpoint that separates the 2 beaches. This area is absolutely beautiful, and the thing that we liked about Dinnywood Beach is as it is right next to White Beach, it is the same beautiful beach. However, it was so much quieter. And so on an evening, if you want a spot for sunset which is much quieter, I would recommend going here. One of the other beaches that we enjoyed going across to was to Bullabong Beach. So this is on the opposite side of the island to White Beach, but it's parallel. So this is on the east side of the island. It is on the windier side, so this is not really a beach where you'll go and lay out. This beach is really popular for water sports like parasailing and jet skiing. Our next favourite beach was Puka Beach. This is located at the northern tip of the island, and this beach was really secluded. It was absolutely breathtaking. You can do activities up here like the kayaks, and what we liked about when you come into Puka Beach, there was loads of little stalls that sell food, drinks and souvenirs. So I would definitely recommend getting an e-trike up to this. Another area that I would recommend that you go to is to New Coast. Here they have a beautiful beach, but they also have the Keyhole, which is a remarkable rock formation. It's a natural arch that has been carved by the forces of wind and water, and it presents a dramatic gateway that you can see out. It is beautiful. This section here, we also were able to see monkeys, which was amazing. We were not expecting it at all. And then two of the hidden gems that we found, which are beaches that I don't hear anybody else speaking about, and they are both serene and picturesque, is Tambisan, where we were able to see Crocodile Island. We had this area completely to ourselves, so it was a perfect spot for us to take some photos. The last beach that we found, which we adored, was Iliglian. Apologies if I am not saying that correctly. This beach was also beautiful. You were able to see Joey's Rock and Durr Hills Rock, and this is also on the northeastern side. If you are wanting a really relaxed beach where you are not going to get hassled by them trying to sell you tours, I would totally recommend going to both of these beaches. Whilst on your trip to Boracay, I recommend that you do some of the activities. There is so much that you can do whilst out here. We did some amazing activities, but unfortunately we're not able to do everything as the list is so long. I would recommend that you prioritise doing a boat ride. There are so many different types of boat rides that you can do. We personally did a sunset boat tour. Boracay is famous for their sunsets. They are picturesque. So we went out on a sailing boat at 5 p.m. and watched the sunset, and it was such an amazing experience. If you are a bit more of a partier, we are not. There are plenty of party boats that you can go on where there's live music, drinks, you get to see Boracay from the ocean. They look amazing if that is your vibe, and you can also go on boat tours where you can go and explore some of the other islands around Boracay and go to some of the caves. At majority of the beaches you are able to do kayaking and snorkeling. You can even do this at some of the hotels. We personally love going kayaking, so we did go kayaking. One of the activities that I wish that I did was helmet diving. If you love seeing marine life and the coral, I would recommend doing either helmet diving, scuba diving or snorkeling. We did something a little bit different, and we went to see Boracay from the sky, and we did the helicopter tour. This is one of the best things I have ever experienced. Boracay is such a beautiful island, and you can really see how white the sand is, how clear the waters are, the cliffs, the greenery from the sky. It is amazing. It is expensive, but it is absolutely worth your money. Over on Bullabog Beach, you can go and do parasailing and jet skiing. If you are somebody that's not really an adrenaline junkie, you can go and do shopping at D-Mall. They have some beautiful pieces of clothing, handbags and jewellery. There are plenty of places that you can go get a massage and some spa treatments. And the final activity that I would recommend, which is something that we did and we really enjoyed, was going to the Mount Luho viewpoint. This is the only activity where you absolutely need cash. It is ran by a little old man who's super cute, and it's 120 pesos per person, and there are a lot of steps to get up, so just be aware if you are going here. After doing all of these activities and exploring the island, you will be ready for some food. So these are some of the recommendations of places that we ate at whilst we were in Boracay. Our favourite cafe was Smooth Cafe on Station 1. It is right on the beach, so the view from the cafe is beautiful. They have a downstairs and an upstairs. The upstairs is air conditioned. They have a vast menu of food, however we only ever went here for drinks, and I can recommend their frappes and their smoothies. They sometimes also had live music on, and the service was amazing. I have a sweet tooth, so I had great fun trying out loads of different desserts whilst in Boracay. My favourites were Coco Mama, which is in D Mall in Station 2. The ube ice cream with the coconut cream and the Rice Krispies was an amazing combination. I, however, did not like the corn ice cream, but you do not have to have the corn ice cream, you can just get the ube, which is what I would personally recommend. The next place that we really enjoyed was Halo Mango Tree. This is also in D Mall in Station 2, and this was a delicious mango ice cream with fresh mango chunks. And my final dessert recommendation is Cafe Monjaro, which is at Station 3. Here is where we got our frozen yogurt. It came in a massive waffle cone with 3 different toppings of our choice, and it was super affordable. Myself and Chris shared this as it was so big. This place you can sit in and they have a full menu. If we were to go back, we would definitely go out and try the full menu. The service here again was amazing. And then for your main meals, I have 3 recommendations. For you to get something that is traditional, authentic Filipino food, I recommend that you go to Subo. This is in Station 3. This restaurant was more than just a meal, it was a full experience. There was dancing, there was live music, it was amazing. Their adobo was absolutely delicious. The next place that I recommend is Little Taj Indian Street Kitchen. This is in D Mall Station 2. Their appetizers were delicious. I really enjoyed them, and I really enjoyed the cheese garlic naan bread. And my final recommendation is the Grill House in Station 3. They have a huge menu, a mixture of Western and European food, and it was all delicious. You could tell that a lot of it was handmade and very fresh produce. Again, the service in here was amazing. I would recommend going here. And that concludes my Boracay travel guide. I hope you have found this video useful. We had such an amazing trip. Our hotel and activities are linked in my bio below. If anybody has any questions, please leave them in the comment section. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. A massive thank you for all of your support on my previous Boracay videos. I can't wait to do more exploring of the Philippines and take you all with me. A massive thank you for all of your support, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye!